welcome to the FIA CIK European Championships for KF2, KZ1 and KZ2. We're in Wackersdorf in Germany, on the very eastern side of Germany. It's a beautiful, beautiful place on the border of Poland to come racing. The circuit 15 years old, near Schwandorf and Amberg, just about an hour from Nuremberg and Munich, and a very Bavarian countryside. But at the circuit, it's far more serious. And to kick off our programme today, we're going to go and watch race 1 of the KF2 European Championship. It's round 1 of the weekend, and it's raining here in Germany. They've had a week of testing where the circuit has been laid with absolutely huge amounts of rubber. But now, discussions about exactly how to get their car sorted. KF2, a single-geared engine, rolling starts. They have options for front brakes as well. They all run Vega tyres and a 125cc two-stroke engine. And the man on pole position is Dutchman Max Verstappen, ahead of Charles Leclerc in the ART Grand Prix team, a very, very famous motorsport brand now. Max Verstappen supported by the Intrepid driver programme. It's very, very wet as the carts head towards the first corner. Charles Leclerc in the 51 machine going the long way around the outside. Lots of grip out there. Oh, but he makes a mistake at the second hairpin. He's going to lose a few spaces now, I think. On board with Nicholas Nelson, the 129 machine, Danish driver, and you can just see how tricky it is to get the power down to judge your braking distances around this very, very wet circuit. So much rubber has been laid down on the track throughout the week, and now with this thunderstorm, it's making it extremely slippery. So Charles Leclerc then, the 51 machine, was in second position, has lost a few spots to the 139 of Marcus Petjoy, and Tom Joyner, the Brit, is lying there in third position in the 61 machine. So Verstappen looking over his shoulder, and there is second, third and fourth position. Once more on board with Nielsen, and latching on to the back of the 53 machine, and that was Dennis Olsen running a little bit wide for the final turn. All arms and elbows then for Max Verstappen, the son of Jos Verstappen, the Dutch famous Formula 1 racing driver. And Max taking pole position, and therefore the command of the race so far due to his dominance throughout the week here. A really successful drive. The 61 machine of Tom Joyner. Oh, takes in second position because Petjoy has gone out. He spun himself round and now has to wait as all the pack goes streaming through. It was looking so good early on, but Petjoy, the Finnish driver, is now out on board the Tony Kart. So Intrepid it is, with a strong lead over Tom Joyner on the Lewis Hamilton machine, and now he's got Charles Leclerc just behind him on the ART GP chassis. ART, the team that runs GP2 cars and GP3 cars, also manufacturing their own chassis now. We switch our attention to Speedy, who is found a little way past the 57 kart of Nicolas Tijonen, as the 91 machine of Carlos Gil Contreras gets a little bit sideways. The Spaniard racing for Tony Kart. So this is now the battle for second position, because Max Verstappen is way ahead of him. Tom Joyner, the British driver, on board the Lewis Hamilton kart, being followed by Charles Leclerc, the man who is on the front row of the grid. And they head through the final turn. You can see where the grip is and where it's not. And Joyner just doesn't have as much speed as Leclerc. and loses out. Further back on board with Nicholas Nielsen, and he loses another position to Stefano Cucci on the Maranello chassis. So our onboard cameraman is somewhere in that battle. And in fact, there is 55 kart of Ben Barnicoat. Barnicoat came from the very back of the grid, and he's already into the top 10. Fought his way past the 57 machine of Nicholas Tihonen, and Tihonen's getting hung out to dry now, as Matthew Graham also moves up through the field on the Zanardi machine. Graham, another Brit. As you can see, most of the time these guys are staying on the normal racing line. The wet tyres, the wet Vega's doing a really good job to clear the water. And here's that battle continuing as Tihonen finds a way past Matthew Graham again. And now the 1-3-2 car of John Norris tries to find a way through. He's got the inside line for the final turn. Just ahead of him is our onboard cameraman, Tihonen, who takes the curb on the inside. That forced him wide. There's no way he can get the grip down there. Great little battle here, just from the outskirts of the top 10, side by side with Graham and Norris. Norris takes the very, very tight inside line, but there's no grip there. And Tihonen and Graham find their way through. A bit of contact between Graham. He just couldn't quite get the car slowed down enough. Remember, they do have front brakes now. The new thing, or relatively new thing for KF2. Dennis Olsen in the 53 kart is in the middle of that battle. And that's Dennis Olsen. And behind Dennis is then Kevin Lavelli on the top kart, on the 119 machine at the back of that group. Graham under attack again. Olsen trying to find a way through. A bit of loading there from Olsen. They go 3 wide, and that allows Olsen back. Really, really struggling to get the power down. And then Graham gives him another little nudge out the way as they go through the hairpin. Tries to get the power down. Doesn't work. And I think the 1-3-2 kart is going to have the inside line and the position. This is for 12th spot. So John Norris then has lost out pretty badly there. We've also got, well, that's the 119 kart in the mix. 136 is also in there. Filio Paz Patrick Armand on the Tony kart from Indonesia. Back to that battle then. Well, it's for now for third position, because Thomas Krebs has caught and passed Tom Joyner. Joyner in that 61 kart. Flying down towards the first turn, absolutely flat out. Runs the outside line there because there is obviously a lot of rubber down, and when the water mixes with the rubber, it's like oil. So just to recap then, Max Verstappen leads this race. Second position is Charles Leclerc, and now we have a new third spot for Thomas Krebs, as Tom Joyner struggling to find any grip in these wet conditions. Beautiful shot, high shot, just watching these karts as they struggle to get the grip down. You'll see the drivers also using their bodies to try and get the grip onto the outside tyres as they turn. That Maranello chassis of Thomas Krebs is looking very good, run by the RS Motorsport team. There is Max Verstappen leading the race. Oh, hits the curb. Oh, and round he goes all on his own. Max Verstappen, the absolute leader of the race by a country mile, has spun himself out of the lead. Just took too much curb on the inside line there. And over he goes, and absolute disastrous. He's actually only lost one position. Charles Leclerc has now got into first, and Verstappen's going to have to do a bit of defensive work from Thomas Krebs until he can find his momentum once more. Drama here then. Verstappen was going so well at the front of the field and established a great lead as we switch our attention to Ben Barnicoat making his way up past Speedy. Barnicoat surely now into the top 6. Amazing job from the foundation driver, Racing Steps Foundation, set up in the UK to support drivers who may not have as much money as perhaps is needed to be successful in this form of motorsport or any form of motorsport. Here is our new leader, Charles Leclerc, the Monegasque driver, already successful as a junior, first year in seniors, and doing an absolutely mega job. The finger raises in the air, he punches it with delight. Leclerc is your winner. Yes! Good stuff. It also means ART on the top step of the podium as well. Verstappen in second with Thomas Krebs third. Tom Joyner eventually lying in fourth position. Barnicoat, what a drive, to fifth. And Carol Bass in sixth position with Speedy seventh. Stefano Cuccio in eighth. And the Vice President of the CIK awarding the trophy to Charles Leclerc, who sprays a bit of bubbly, covers his team, and that is a good job. Well done.
A bit lucky because Max did an error and I could have passed first, but then I've finished the race in front of him and I think I was a little bit faster than him. But you know, it's the race and it's good that we win. Hopefully we'll do the same for the second race.
And that second race coming up in part 4 of this programme. Next up is the KZ2. Welcome back to Wackersdorf in Germany for the European Championships. This is the KZ2 final, and that means the gearbox karts. They have a manual 6-speed gearbox. They'll have a standing start. Of course, front and rear brakes as well. They all run on the controlled Vega tyres, but originally they are just a 125cc engine. Simas Judversis is the Lithuanian man on pole position ahead of 3 Germans, Marvin Meindhofer, Michele Di Martino and Marcel Jelendowski. And that is your top 4 on the grid. It's a standing start, remember, because the gearbox is who is going to get the best getaway. Pretty evenly matched on the front of the field. It looks like Di Martino wanted a piece of the front row of the action, had a good start from 4th, but got muscled back. But from pole position, Judversis takes the lead of the race. 2.80 spinning mid-pack there, which is Menno Pauw. Started way up the field, so that's not a good start at all from the Dutch driver. But at the lead of the race, Simas Judversis coming into the second half of the lap now. You can see it's still wet in patches, but on the racing line, it's very, very dry indeed. They're all using the slick tyres. Bit of contact between the 2 Tony karts as Marcel Muller retires after absolutely no running at all. Oh, what happened there? Marvin Meindhofer getting on the brakes very, very early. Di Martino diving up the inside, being caught out, I think, and now has fallen way, way back. The speeds are incredible, well over 100 miles an hour in a gearbox kart. You can see that right hand snatching at the gear stick. Obviously the gears are pretty short, so you're pulling all the way up to 6th gear along the start-finish straight here and then dropping it down for best acceleration. A good start then from Judversis, leading the way ahead of Marvin Meindhofer. Good battle though for 4th position, and it's the Russian driver 282 of Leonid Palfilov, who is in 4th at the moment, but he's got all of these guys way, way back and being muscled very wide in the 241 of Kevin Geer in the Tony kart, the Swiss driver. We go on board and we're staring at the back of Geer with Di Martino, who's got some serious work to do now. And a change of position, Ricardo Negro sliding up the inside of Panfilov, but Panfilov snatches that spot back in the 282 kart. We go on board with Jordan Lennox Lamb, racing for CRG and looking to try and find a way past these two, lying in 5th position at the moment. You can just see how fast you have to be. These karts are flying around this circuit and reaction times are really at a premium. So Pamphilov then in 3rd position, the front two away and distant already. It's the CRG of Marvin Meindhofer lying in 2nd as Lennox Lamb takes a spot. That was pretty easy because Ricardo Negro ran wide of that final turn. Seems to be easy to do. Oh, and now Lennox Lamb runs very deep into the turn, has contact as well with Alexandre Aru, the Frenchman, who's now moved up a position, but Lennox Lamb has him straight back as well. All of this fighting has allowed yet another machine into the mix, the 218 machine of Dylan Davis on the PCR kart, and look who's behind them as well, 221, and that is Michele Di Martino. So our onboard camera cars are together again. Lennox Lamb goes defensive but also runs a little bit wide, a sniff of an opportunity for Michele, but there was no chance of a passing move there. And again runs wide, and this time it's side by side. This time there is a way through for Di Martino. Through the final turn, Lennox Lamb just getting the kart set up, but look how much better drive Di Martino had, and it's also allowed 278 up through, and that's René Oswald. So Lennox Lamb from going forwards is now starting to go backwards again, locks a brake and runs a little bit wide, shakes his head, he's being ruffled, and you can see it's just so fast and it's so difficult to keep up. And as soon as you lose the momentum, lose that rhythm, then all of a sudden you're really, really struggling. The grip not there where it was when they were testing a few days ago, having been washed off in that storm cloud that hit the KF2 race. But there is Di Martino now back into a solid position. The next target, of course, is the 218 kart lying in 4th position of Dylan Davis, but Davis has already made a break for it. Still the battle's going on with Lennox Lamb still under pressure. This time it's from the Maranello kart of Jonas Hansen in the 242. Look how much grip they've got through that turn. And he dives down the inside, but he's made contact. Oh, and he's brought the 278 kart round as well. All sorts of chaos at that first hairpin. Everyone trying to sort themselves out. But it looks as though the 278 kart will take no further action. Certainly falls way, way down the field. René Oswald then, an innocent victim really of just a slightly overexcitable move from Jonas Hansen. But hopefully at least it'll give a little bit of breathing space to Jordan Lennox Lamb. Now Di Martino onto the tail of the Russian Pamphilov, flying through those S's towards the penultimate hairpin, and now over the hill they're both catching Dylan Davis. Now Davis must have got past Pamphilov, taking a slightly tighter line than Davis, who lets the kart run wide. Down the inside comes Di Martino, a nice little move, and that of course brings him up into 4th position. Dylan Davis is in 3rd. We've got Marvin Meindhofer in 2nd spot, and then of course Simas Judversis way out front. We've not seen him at all in the lead of the race in the 250 kart. Fantastic on-board shots, just showing how much work the driver's doing. As Michele Di Martino now lines up Dylan Davis for a pass. Davis from the Netherlands, driving for AVG Racing, and an easy pass from Di Martino down the inside of that first turn. Very, very fast right-hander. He flicks the kart to the inside to defend, but takes it, shuts the visor, gets his head down, and knows now there's just 2 karts between him and the winner of the race. And that is really, really good effort considering that early mistake. Out of the race goes the 248 kart of Adam Janus from the Czech Republic. We've also lost Flavio Sani and Ricardo Rometska. Plenty of retirements And there's another Czech driver, Jan Midria, right in the thick of things. We go on board with the Birrell man, lying in 9th position at the moment, flicking his way through that fast chicane. And he's got Jordan Lennox Lamb just ahead of him with 2.59. Here is Lennox Lamb's view, and Lennox Lamb sitting behind, oh, I'm pretty sure that's a back marker, isn't it? Marco Zanchietta getting out the way for those two, hard charging. Lennox Lamb holding on to 8th position at the moment. And now looking down the inside, there is no gap there for Midra to slide past. Birrell versus CRG. And just inside the top 10. But coming to the closing stages of this race now. We go back on board with Midria, who looks down the inside, sends one up the inside and moves himself ahead and into 8th spot then. Easy move. Lennox Lamb now needs to try and find a way past. To the final turn, runs it a little bit wider but cuts back. Gets the drive on, under the start and finishing line through this very, very fast first turn. Absolutely incredible speeds they're carrying around this circuit. Looks like another back marker they're going to have to contend with in a moment. Oh no, that is not a back marker at all. That is the 241 machine of Kevin Gear, who was ahead of these two, so they have he's lost a position. Now we switch our attention to the battle for 2nd spot. Marvin Mindhofer has been safe there for most of the race, but here comes Michele Di Martino down the inside. His favourite passing spot, just knocks it down one gear, gets back on the power to settle the rear end and moves himself into runner-up position. There's clear track ahead there. There's no chance of catching Simas ahead. But Marvin Mindhofer will not be the top German because Michele Di Martino, registered as a German driver, although a very Italian name. It's going to be a 1-2 for the Energy team because Simas Universis has driven an absolutely beautiful, safe race. Oh, bit of an accident at the chicane, which has meant that Kevin Gear is out, but it's a win. It's a commanding win for Simas Universis, the first Lithuanian to take victory here in Germany. They know where the cameras are, don't they? What a mega result. Confirmation of the results then. Universis and Di Martino make it an Energy 1-2, with Meindorfer taking 2 Germans onto the podium here in Wackersdorf. And there he is, the first ever Lithuanian to stand on the top step of a CIK FIA Championship, European Championship round. He is the European champion for 2012. The champagne sprays with Michele Di Martino and Marvin Mindhofer. Let's hear from him.
It was really my day because we start only in the practice was not so good, but in pre-final I was first in the rain, and now in the final I was calm, thinking and pushing every lap, and I win. Really very happy.
Absolutely. After the break, we've got the big boys in the KZ1 category. Welcome back to Wackersdorf in Germany for the KZ1 European Championship final. This is where the cream of the gearbox crop are found. KZ1, very similar to KZ2, manual gearbox, standing start therefore with the clutch, front and rear brakes, Bridgestone tyres however, and a 125cc two-stroke engine. And here's the grid. Anthony Abase for Sodicart on pole position, with Jurit Pex in second spot and Paolo Di Conto in third, with Baz Lammers in fourth position. Very, 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 very good start from Baz Lammers there to try and muscle his way into the lead of the race in the 14 machine, but hasn't managed to find a way through. He's got into second position, however, as one of the cars runs wide onto the slippery stuff. It's pretty dry now out on circuit, but it's a great start from Jurit Pex. The Dutch driver for CRG has got himself in the front of the field, out of the calamity, out of the mayhem, and way ahead of the rest. Number 6 in fourth position, Rick Drenzen. We go on board with Paolo Di Conto, who moves into second spot through the hairpin, ahead of Baz Lammers. The number 1 machine dictating that he was the champion last year. You can see how much he's moving his body around to try and get the tyres working, leaning to the inside initially to try and get the rear end sliding just a little bit, and then he'll lean out to then lay down the wheels and get the back end sticking. The 19 car there having a bad day, Simo Puhaka, and we go on board now with Davide Fore, who's following Paolo Di Conto into third spot now, with 5 on the side of his CRG. And that's meant the 6 carts of Rick Drenzen's dropped down, as has Baz Lammers. So Lammers, from a great start, has gone way, way back. So much body movement, so much work being done by Paolo Di Conto in his Birrell 15 machine of Alessandro Piccini is facing the wrong direction. We'll go over the line for another time. 6, Rick Drenzen down the inside, big move then past the 5 carts of Davide Fore and makes that move stick, and Fore manages to get back into line before Baz Lammers takes any sort of advantage as well. So a big day for Holland here, with Jurit Pex at the front of the field, Baz Lammers there in 4th spot, and of course AVG Racing running many carts as well. Lammers having to defend just a little bit, and that's from the 30 carts, and that is Marco Ardigo. So we've got world champions in here, Davide Fore, Marti, and also Marco Ardigo. Ardigo still with Tony Kart, Fore now with CRG, and now for Paolo Di Conto dives down the inside of the 12 machine for the lead of the race. Jurit Pex then down to second. Paolo Di Conto, the man who won the European Championship last year, is in the lead of the race now. They fly through those quick section of right-handers. And Di Conto really has the bit between his teeth, covering the inside line just a little bit, braking and shutting the door on Pex if he fancies another go. Over that little hill, these carts do just get a little bit of air. The carts definitely go light over there. Obviously, very, very light machines indeed. Only about 100 kilos is the cart. And the driver's making up the rest. There's Fore, 4th position behind Drenzen. Oh, what's happened to Paolo Di Conto? Hand up in the air. It looks like he's out of the race. And mechanical maladies. Oh no, hangs his head in shame. The kart was looking absolutely mega, maybe too good. And Paolo Di Conto will not be European champion this year. So, puts Pex back in the lead. Second then, Tony Kart, Marco Ardigo. Third is Marco Ardigo. Second at the moment is Drenzen, and then it's Fore. So 2 Tony Karts, 2 CRGs, and Baz Lammers still there, still hanging around for the Praga chassis, the Dutch chassis. Further back, 25 and 28 Jonathan Donon is in the 28 machine and trying to find a way past Arno Kozlinski. And now here comes Marco Ardigo into second position past his teammate. Drenzen down to third. Fouray's there, looking at the rear bumper. Foray and Ardigo know each other extremely well from racing in the same team at one point. Back on board then. And Foray looks down the inside and makes the move stick from Drenzen. So Drenzen losing 2 spots as well because Baz Lammers goes through, but Lammers has been immediately passed back. They're going side by side over the start and finishing line. And looks like Drenzen's just about held on, but it has compromised Lammers. He's nowhere near as close as he should have been. And Lammers now back down the inside of the hairpin. Here comes Kozlinski now. Kozlinski in the PCR, a French driver who we saw earlier on with Jonathan Tonon. And they're right with them too. Just a reminder then, the leader of the race, Jorrit Peks for CRG Holland. Now Ardigo in second position for Tony Kart. And Foray in third for CRG, the works team from Italy. Lammers gets his head behind the Nassau panel as much as he possibly can. Try and eke a little bit more speed out of his machine, trying to get away from Drenzen. And here is the battle for the lead of the race then. Marco Ardigo looking to have a pass on Jorrit Peks. It's been such a fantastic weekend for Jorrit to take that pole position. Ardigo didn't have so much of a clean run. He knows how to win championships. Marco Ardigo has won world championships when they were just one event, when there were 3 events. But this is just a one event European Championship. And here comes Marco Ardigo down the inside for Tony Kart and into the lead of the race. Peks to second, but at least there's not too many people behind him for the moment. Looking very smooth, not too much work going on the steering wheel. That right hand just flicking off the wheel every so often to change gear. The rear end sticking through the hairpins and through the fast stuff. Looks very much in control, but Ardigo likes to do this. He gets to the front and then controls the pace. See, Peks hasn't dropped at all. He's still there. He can still sniff an opportunity for victory. And these two have now made a little bit of a getaway from the chasing pack from Foray, as now Arno Kozlinski goes past Baz Lammers. So the fast starting Lammers on the Praga machines now dropped a little bit further back. The PCR kart, the yellow kart of Arno Kozlinski, up 1 spot. And they have Davide Foray just ahead of them in third spot. Kozlinski then looking for a podium position. Fourth at the moment, Lammers in fifth. They dropped Jonathan Tonon, who is fighting with them. But there is Ardigo. Into the hairpin. Leading the race now. Just a kart or two's distance between him and Peks. Peks getting a little bit sideways. Then there is Foray. Then Arno Kozlinski and Baz Lammers fighting. Lammers has got a good run through the chicane, but Kozlinski has to go defensive. No way through that particular hairpin. It's a bit of an easy and overtaking opportunity through this one, but Kozlinski covers the inside line. Lammers goes for the outside. Again, shakes his head, can't find a way through. Here comes Ardigo to take victory here in Germany. Yes, yes, yes! Tony Kart once more on the top step of the podium. But a underweight kart meant that he got disqualified, and Jorrit Peks took the championship ahead of Davide Foray. Arno Kozlinski on the podium. And there he is, A very successful weekend for the CRG Holland driver. It didn't look like it was going to be the top step of the podium, but he has made it stick and raises the trophy aloft. The European champion for KZ1 is CRG Holland and Jorrit Peks. The champagne sprays.
Yeah, it's like a surprise now. But yeah, we were fast the whole weekend in all weather conditions, and all races were in top 3. So the final, this result is yeah, it's fantastic.
Indeed, CRG Holland and Jorrit Peks are the European champions for KZ1. Welcome back to Wackersdorf in Germany, the final part of this week's show, and it's the European Championship Round 2 for KF2. Charles Leclerc on pole position thanks to his win in race 1. Max Verstappen beside him. Then Thomas Krebs, Tom Joyner, Ben Barnicoat in 5th, and Carol Bass in 6th position. Obviously extremely wet first race, but much drier conditions for race 2, the final race of the weekend. And it looks like Charles Leclerc has not made the same mistake as he did in race 1, although he gets a big slide through the first turn, and Ben Barnicoat from 5th on the grid is leading into the first proper corner. Plenty of loading going on further back. Barnicoat's cold tyres, the back end really hanging out, but a great start from him, and Max Verstappen is 2nd position. That's going to be an interesting fight. Verstappen's so dominant throughout the weekend and for most of race 1 until he spun. And there is Tom Joyner in 3rd position. But look at the advantage that Ben Barnicoat already has over Max Verstappen in 2nd spot. Great first lap, good, really good pace, but plenty of understeer on Ben Barnicoat's car, as you can see, going through the hairpin there. And Max Verstappen will be looking at this and reading the situation. The car does not look happy whatsoever. Of course, no tyre warmers or anything like that allowed, so really difficult to get the tyres up to temperature, and the early laps a real struggle. Circuit definitely grippy now, but you can see so much understeer. He just throws the kart in full lock, and he absolutely cannot get it stopped. Oh, a bit of a mistake into the curbs, onto the grass, and that's surely going to allow Max Verstappen down the inside. Only just. He gets away with it, Ben Barnicoat, and we've lost 98, and that is Robin Hansen. We've actually also lost 2 other machines as well. Andy Chang Wing Chong, the first of our retirements for the Tony Kart Racing team. So Verstappen now for Intrepid, trying to make amends after that silly error in race 1. Over the brow of the hill he goes, and in the lead of the race. On board with Karol Drabski in 15th position, staring at the back of the 58 kart, the 54 kart, sorry, of Flavio Camponeschi, and plenty of battling further back. It's a really hard-fought battle for basically what's 4th position and below, because Speedy is leading that little train of karts. And Speedy is lying in 6th position, in fact. So this is 6th and backwards. The 81 machine lying just behind of Alberto Di Folco. And he has pressure from the 119 kart of Kelvin Lavelli. So this is all the battle for 6th spot, as we said. Lavelli dives down the inside and finds a way past the 81 machine, but also compromises speed, so plenty of others flooding past as well, including the Cosmic on 2.9 kart of Nicholas Nielsen, who were on board with him in race 1. Nielsen now looking down the inside of the hairpin and makes that stick. Good move from Nielsen. Checks over his shoulder to make sure the 119 kart doesn't have too much momentum in the top kart team. But still, at the front of the queue is Speedy. Into the hairpin they go. Side by side, further back. Oh, dearie me. Kelvin Lavelli getting hung out to dry on the grass. And now he'll have very, very slippery wet tyres. Still trying to defend, which is a bit silly, really, because now he's got himself right into the mix of things. Not up to speed and still trying to hold on to that position. Either way, back to the battle of the 6th position then. 59 card of Antoine Hubert, Frenchman on the FK kart is up into 8th, and Nielsen gives him the think sign and lets chase and put some pressure on the 70 kart of Speedy, because at the moment he's having it all his own way. Pretty easy for the Tony Kart driver, although not running in Tony Kart colours. So red Tony Kart. Here comes the train though. Speedy gets deposited 2 positions back, and that puts Antoine and Nicholas up 1 spot each. So Nicholas Nelson then up to 6th. And already the 59 kart of Antoine Hubert chasing down the next target. And that will be the 116 kart of Thomas Krebs, although they're now actually in 5th position as Speedy dives back down the inside of Nielsen, because we've lost Tom Joyner. For some reason, Tom missing our cameras and out of the race. So now this battle is for 6th. The 70 machine of Speedy stays in 6th position, and already the 59 kart of Antoine Hubert slides past Thomas Krebs. So Krebs didn't have an answer for him whatsoever, and Hubert finds himself in 4th spot. In fact, looking at the speed of that kart, Krebs is definitely not as fast as the guys behind him, so may well be swallowed up as this race progresses. Just a reminder though, Max Verstappen is your leader of the race. Ben Barnicoat lies in 2nd position in the 55 machine, and then Dennis Olsen in the 53 kart is in 3rd. This is where the action really lies though, further back in the field. 58 is Karol Drabski, our onboard cameraman. And looks like Speedy has been passed. Who's he been passed by? John Norris making his way up through the field. So Speedy going backwards a little bit in this mid part of the race, and John Norris flying further behind them. Plenty of action as Speedy gets past Norris once more. So Norris must have made a mistake there, because he definitely had a bigger advantage than we first thought. And one of the Tony Kart drivers now dives down the inside, the 81 kart, having a quick look at trying to pass John Norris, but decided against it. And Alberto Di Folco still very much involved, the Millennium Motorsport driver driving on board a Tony Kart. So in the Tony Kart colours. And Speedy then tweaking the, like he was just fiddling with the, actually the radiator there. Down the inside goes Norris once more. And all of this for 5th position. Through the fast right and then left onto the big back straight. Long left-hand turn. The guys using the front and rear brakes. That's why they're sort of twitching under braking, because they're just locking a wheel. Speedy goes back ahead of Norris. John Norris from Ireland aboard the Mach 1 chassis, racing with Mach 1 Motorsport, Dutch chassis manufacturer. And he's managed to tow this time. He's managed to tow with him Alberto Di Folco. So Folco now takes the advantage up to 5th. Folco, Norris, and then Speedy as the 91 machine of Carlos Gil Contreras finds himself in the wall and out of the race. He'll retire in 26th position. There's Max Verstappen. Haven't seen too much of him because it's been another completely compelling victory for the Dutchman. Hasn't quite finished the race yet, and we thought he was going to win the first race the weekend until he had those problems. Back on board, and 1 position gained from Carol Drabs. And he's moved up to 9th position now. Speedy now on the tail of Charles Leclerc. So Leclerc's really faded on this one. Remember, the winner of the first race of the weekend in the wet conditions, but Leclerc in the ART car just suffering a little bit. That is the cue behind our onboard cameraman Drabski. For 9th position. Ben Barnicoat then on board with him, and he's lost a position to Dennis Olsen, so that's 2nd spot. Olsen's got ahead of Ben Barnicoat. Over the start and finishing line, Barnicoat must have made a little error. Now he's got his head right down. Max Verstappen well ahead in the lead. No real challenge coming from behind, although Antoine Hubert has made a very, very concerted effort to get at least onto the tail of them. On board with Barnicoat to the outside then of Olsen. No way through there. Then just kissing his bumper. Comes towards the hairpin, takes the racing line, switchback move. Perfectly executed from Ben Barnicoat. So much overtaking he did in race 1. Max Verstappen it is who takes the victory, however. Over the start and finishing line, celebrates with the team, punches the air, and justice is done. He deserved the victory in race 1, apart from his stupid little error. And he's taken victory in race 2, ahead of Ben Barnicoat, who held on. Dennis Olsen in 3rd, Antoine Hubert in 4th spot, and then Nicholas Nielsen in 5th. So another Dutchman on the top step of the podium, a famous motoring name in Max Verstappen, and he raises the trophy above his head. Victory in race 2 here, and they're halfway through the championship as the champagne sprays. Ben Barnicoat in 2nd and Olsen in 3rd.
In the beginning it started to rain a little bit, and we had the new tires on, so it was really slippery in the first 4 laps. You also could see Ben was really fast. He made a little mistake, so that's why I could pass him. And after we got the grip, and I could pull a gap.
Well, that's it from Wackersdorf in Germany. The CIK FIA Championships move on to Braga in Portugal, where we discover the top runners of the Under-18 World Championship. Until then, it's goodbye.